and I'm now going to reassemble the tail stock. This little ball bearing situation I'm not particularly happy about, and that goes in here. For the moment I'm going to leave it as is because I don't have a replacement, so I'll just oil it and put it back in here into its little component part, which barely fit. But you know, I'm gonna see about getting an actual unit that fits in here with these dimensions. So I'm gonna measure that and then see if I can just buy one solid unit instead of these three little pieces. And we'll see if that works. But for the meantime, I'll leave this as is. And I know this is basic, but I actually thought I'd show you the actual measuring of this. So this, as you can see, when I squeeze it together, it actually says minus 0.1. So I'm going to zero it, and then what you want is the inside dimension of this. So we can do it a couple of ways. And you can see that there is 23.68 millimeters. Really, this is the way to do it correctly. And you can see that it's the actual internal measurement is 24.05 because there's a bit of chamfering. And to double check, we can take this, actually we can take one of these and measure it like that. And you can see the measurement there, almost 24. So from 2405 to 2395, you're talking about 1/10 of a millimeter, which is, to show you again, okay, 24.28, 24.29 at the limit if I push it. So 24.29, and you have to try and get it exactly in the middle. So 23.92. So the most that it is 0.08 plus 29. So you're looking at about 1/3 of a millimeter play. So that's basically what I'm gonna be looking for. And to double check, you know, I can also measure the other 23.98. And you also want this dimension, the internal dimension of where the bolt is going to go through. So you want to make sure that you've got that one as well. 10.15, which should be the same as this one. Okay. As you can see, either this caliper is not perfect, which is possible. It wasn't the most expensive one, but it should be doing its job. So that's 10.7, and this one is well, we've got almost a half millimeter of difference in the diameter of these openings. But anyway, there you go. I'm going to write all those things down so that when I try and purchase the ball bearing as a one unit, hopefully I'll get it right. And here's just the reassembly of the tail stock bits. So just going to try and keep it in such a way that you can see what I'm doing. And probably fast forward it because it's not all that interesting. Notice that this is it goes the other way around. It goes like counterclockwise to lock, which is different. And lines up pretty well, but just make sure see if any of the other orientation is better. So I'm just taking it out and turning it. I think the original was the best. Yeah, this one's also pretty good. Yeah, I'd say this is probably the best orientation, so that's what I'll go for. And unfortunately my little screws got bumped, so I'm not sure that they're exactly the same ones going into the same holes, but we'll see. Yes, and there's the usual problem, which is that these little bolts don't always fit perfect, and that is something that does disturb me, because as far as I'm concerned, the bolts should have a absolutely correct measurement for Allen keys. Otherwise you're going to end up stripping them, and that's no good. This is the one on the bottom right is the slightly dodgy one, which I'm not enjoying. The other ones seem pretty okay. I'm not doing these super tight either. I think this has to be pretty tight, but again, judiciously. A bit more than just finger tight, but I'm not going crazy on it. Yeah, the bottom right is definitely the potentially troublesome bolt, and it's always good to make sure you tighten all of them together, as I mentioned before. So don't go overboard on one before you do all the other ones. Try and do them all at the same time, a little bit at a time. Yeah, and because that's the dodgy one, I'm leaving that one as the guiding principle for the other ones. So I'm not doing any of them more than the others by any kind of degree. That should be it. Little test, yeah, perfect. Okay, and now it's just the handle. Oh wait, not quite. Where is that little piece? There it is. This little guy is very important, and needs to go in here. That is the little key that fits there. the interesting part is that this is sitting towards the bottom now. It's going to be a little bit more complicated to get it in there. And could be that I have it the wrong way around, because although it shouldn't, it is slightly angled, so one side of it is slightly, yeah, I think that is the orientation. One side of it is, it's not perfectly rectangular, put it that way. So it doesn't quite fit the way you want it to. There we go. And we put this bolt back on. Again, this bolt is not great, but I mean the nut is not great, but I've got better nuts than this one, so I can always change it. For now, just gonna tighten it a bit. Okay, so we do have a problem here, in that I think I better show you. Hold on to your hats, because this will be, there we go. So you see the scale there, which if we assume that's 0, now look what happens. As I turn this wheel, of course, that's slowly moving out, and it should be moving out at the rate of, let's see, there it is at the top, 1 revolution, and we've gone, okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines, 1 revolution, 2 more lines. So we've got, let's go the other way, just start from the beginning so you can see. So that's 1 line out, and if I do 1 full revolution, that's 1. 1 full revolution, that's 2. 1 full revolution, that's 3. That's what it should be. But unfortunately, we've got a bit of play here, which means if I tighten the bolt here a bit more, then it all grinds to a halt. Let me show you. So if I tighten that a bit more, then this doesn't move at all. And if I loosen it, you know, it's still a bit stiff. If I loosen it too much, of course, then I lose the this thing. And as soon as there's a bit of friction, this spins while the wheel is not moving. So that's not ideal. Don't know how I'm going to fix that, but I assume part of the problem is that you've got that little spring in there. I'm not sure why that is in there, to be honest, because as far as I understand it, if you get this on a 0, this dial should pretty much be connected to that, but I'll see. And you know, the important thing really is the measurements on here, which you can see anyways. That's in inches and that's in millimeters. So you know, you can see the rate regardless of how many turns. You can sort of see what's happening over there. But yeah, probably not ideal. Anyway, this works a lot better. It's locked it in, and when you lock that in, sorry, I didn't show you. So when you lock this in properly now, this doesn't really go anywhere. That play that there is just the bolt. I mean, you can force it, I suppose, but this really, if you tighten it, that shouldn't go anywhere. The fact that it still goes back and forth like that, I don't know, not great. I'll have to figure out how to fix that. And of course the handle is always those little jobbies, so gotta tighten that a bit. But the tailstock has, I think, measurably improved. You'll notice a nice bit of paint there as usual. That's my first pass on cleaning it and whatever. I need to have the burring tools and that to come back on it. But that's the tailstock assembly done for a first pass. Next thing is gonna be this monstrosity, and we'll see how far I get with that.